A contract, if I can call it that, a contract that cost us 1.6 billion Ghana cedis. A contract that didn't have any written agreement attached to it. So basically, people were working and we're paying them, allegedly, without any documentation to cover it. 1.6 billion Ghana cedis. That's like a casual worker. Also, government has investigated, and by government I mean Shraj, has investigated contracts that were awarded under dubious circumstances, under questionable circumstances. And that investigation has been concluded and has been handed over to government's lawyer to naturally carry out a prosecution. The lawyer says she hasn't received it. The investigator says, I have given it to you. And that's where we'll begin with this morning. Manasseh Azuri-Abuni is an investigator here at Joy News, and he's joining us to bring us the details of this story. Let's begin, Manasseh, with good morning, first of all.
Good morning, Daniel.
Great to have you. Let's begin, first of all, with the story of the Shraj investigation.
This investigation came to our attention 2 years ago when we were doing the Robbing the Assemblies investigative series. Mm-hmm. Somebody sent me a message on Facebook that I am monitoring your investigations on Zoomlion. And I remember somewhere in 2009, there was a similar investigation about Zoomlion at Shraj. So I went to Shraj to find out whether there was indeed any such investigation. And I was told that yes, a whistleblower from the Tano South District of the Bono-Ahafo region at the time made a whistleblower's complaint to Shraj to the effect that Zoomlion was awarded a nationwide contract in 2007, and that is the sanitation improvement package. It is one of about 6 contracts Zoomlion has with other assemblies in Ghana. This contract is the one which is supposed to ensure that the refuse containers are lifted to the final disposal site.
Okay.
But this person was alleging that when the contract was awarded in the Tano South District, Zoomlion even hadn't started the work. They hadn't brought equipment there. But the DC at the time and government officials, local government, were all conniving to pay Zoomlion for no work done. So the person made a complaint to Shraj to investigate, and Shraj, I'm told, started to do the investigation and realized it was widespread, so they extended it. Then Zoomlion went to court to challenge the mandate of Shraj to investigate them, that they were a private entity and they didn't fall within those organizations that should have been investigated by Shraj. And I'm told there was a ruling in 2013. Zoomlion lost the case against Shraj, meaning Shraj was supposed to proceed.
Okay.
Then we had information, and so we went, and Shraj actually said, yes, this happened, but they were about concluding the report. That was in 2017. Mm-hmm. We did a number of follow-ups, and in June 2018, we had information that Shraj had concluded the report and sent it to the Attorney General and Minister of Justice to work on it. After some time, I made follow-ups to the Attorney General's department, and the information I had from the Attorney General was that no such issue had come to her attention.
That's where it begins getting murky.
Yes. So I was asked to perhaps provide further details of the report, the nature of the investigation. So I did. And the response I still had was that they ran their checks, that the Attorney General's department, they ran their checks, and everything revealed that no such information had come from, or no such investigative report on Zoomlion had come from Shraj. I went back to Shraj, and Shraj still insisted that the investigation was done and that they submitted that investigative report to the Attorney General's department. So that is what is hanging now. So the question is, Where is the report? Such an important investigative report by Shraj. They spent money, went across the country to produce investigation, and now Shraj is sitting down thinking that the Attorney General will act on this report. The Attorney General is sitting down saying we have not received any such report, meaning between the Commissioner of Shraj, who signed that report to be given to the Minister of Justice and Attorney General, somebody somewhere.
And we have some documents to the effect that the Commissioner General of Shraj has indeed sent those documents to the Attorney General.
Yes, the Commissioner of Shraj actually says they have evidence that such report was submitted. And I was even shown a copy, or I cited, I think, a cover letter to that effect. So it is strange, but not very strange, in a sense that if you are looking at the company that is involved, I am aware, I have done a lot of work on Zoomlion. And even when they sign contracts and they are still paying Zoomlion for the contracts, you go to the ministry and you can trace contract documents. And here I'm talking about the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development. They've signed contracts, they are still paying, but there's no evidence of that contract in the entire ministry. And now it is moving to the Attorney General's department. So it is a bit...
Manasseh, for the sake of the listeners who may want to appreciate how serious it is a problem that we have, what are we talking about in terms of the initial investigation that was made? So payments were made to Zoomlion. Were payments made to Zoomlion? I'm talking about the reason for the investigation itself. Can you take us through that?
Yes. This contract I've followed extensively, and I know a bit of this contract. Zoomlion started somewhere in 2006. Then in 2006, the company was given this nationwide sweepers contract to monitor sweepers under the Youth Employment Agency. Then in 2007, the company was again awarded a nationwide contract in all or with all the municipal, metropolitan and district assemblies to lift. When they finish sweeping, they put them in containers, those communal containers, lifting them to the final disposal site. So the company was given this contract to execute. And the company was supposed to provide waste vehicles and containers, meaning you only start paying when the service is delivered. But in their case, they started getting the money even before they went to the districts with their containers and equipment to start work. And we even have evidence from an internal memo within SNIT in 2008 when they were trying to help Zoomlion raise funds. And they were making reference to the 2007 contract that we know Zoomlion can pay because it has been given a nationwide contract to do this job across the assemblies. Deductions are going to be made from source, and it needs equipment to go and then deliver this contract. So we are talking about 2008 April, a document in April 2008 by SNIT, making reference to a 2007 contract, meaning they got the contract.
They waited 1 year.
They now needed money to get equipment to go and execute the contract.
But they were still being paid.
But they were already being paid.
Do we know how much they had been paid or how much they have been paid so far?
The districts differed. Each district and had its own period of the contract when they began.
Okay.
So we could. I cannot say for every
sure
district
exactly what they have.
Yes,
but rest assured, suffice it to say that all of them have been paying monies to Zoomlion before they even went to raise the funds to execute the contract.
Yes, quite a number of them. And the information I'm getting is that Shraj even recommended in that report, which we cannot find, that some monies should be refunded from Zoomlion to the district assemblies.
Let's get that confirmation from Mr. Joseph Whittal. He's Commissioner of the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice, Shraj. Mr. Whittal, thank you very much for joining us on the Super Morning Show.
always a pleasure.
So can you confirm that your outfit investigated this particular contract?
Yes, for certain. Charge began a protracted investigation into allegations of corruption, conflict of interest, and other issues against Zoomlion and the the Common Fund Administrator's Office and 138 district assemblies across the country. And we have since completed the investigation and submitted our report to the Attorney General as per law.
And when was this report submitted?
I think we submitted it June 2018, almost a year today.
That's a long time ago. Since you submitted the report, have you followed up at the Attorney General's office to find out if work is being done as their end?
As is common practice, our letters, whistleblower letters, forwarding investigation reports which are concluded with recommendations to the Attorney General, are done undercover. And because we are not expecting anything else other than acknowledging receipt of the report, because from that time onwards, the Attorney General is seized with jurisdiction to take forward the findings and the recommendations, and under her discretion under Article 88, decide what to do.
Did she acknowledge receipt of the report?
Quite a number of reports have been acknowledged in the course of the same year. I think we submitted about 3-4 whistleblower complaints last year to the Attorney General's office. Some were acknowledged, some were not. But we are not required to then do a follow-up.
Did she acknowledge receipts of this particular report?
I have to do my checks. But what I know is that we forwarded it, and we have evidence of receiving it at the Attorney General's office by our bailiffs who sent the letters for service and the reports.
When you say evidence of receiving it, what do you mean?
We know the letters and the reports got to the Attorney General's office.
But you can't tell me...
But you see, Daniel, for me, it's about implementation of the law. Because the whistleblower legislation requires that all the 18 bodies who are expected to investigate improprieties that are made to them should send their report to the Attorney General with their recommendations. And of course, that report and its content are confidential. We are normally very careful not to want to go into details of what happened. But we are prepared. Even today, we are prepared to extend another copy of the investigation reports to the Attorney General for her action. But we have the evidence of what we sent properly delivered there.
The Attorney General's office says they have not received any such reports from your office.
As I said, I don't want us to quibble over matters of the state. These are issues of probable loss of funds to the state. I am prepared to make the report together with our findings and recommendations for the further action of the Attorney General. And by the way, in addition, these are the reasons why there were proposals that the amendments to the law, the whistleblower law, should exclude constitutional bodies like TRIBE having to, at the end of an investigation of a whistleblower complaint on corruption, submit the matter to the Attorney General. And so I'm not surprised that we have this issues. If we were allowed to proceed with it on our own, I don't think there will be a problem. But be that as it may, we are willing and ready to submit that huge report with its findings and everything to assist the Attorney General take a decision on that.
So I hear you saying that you would send another copy to the Attorney General's department.
I am willing and ready if they want it.
Okay. I also hear you saying that you are not surprised that something like this can happen, that the Attorney General says they have not received the report.
I wouldn't want to go that far. I would say these things happen. But I wish these are the issues that will engage the attention of our legislators when we come to amending the Whistleblower Act. A constitutional independent body should not be made to submit its report through the Attorney General for action on a matter of this nature. We should have been able to proceed on our own, especially when there are issues that necessarily are not criminal. These are matters that we could have proceeded to the court for enforcement of any of our recommendations by civil action, if we need it.
Speaking of the recommendations that you made, what was the scope of this investigation in the first place?
The scope, as I said, included investigating Zoomlion for corruption, conflict of interest, and its officials, for that matter, corruption, conflict of interest, the office of the Administrator of Common Fund, and at that time, the assemblies were 138, but one member was the one member actually was cited. That's the Tano South District Assembly. But because in the course of our preliminary investigation, we realized that the matter was covering all the 138 assemblies at the time, we expanded the scope to cover all the assemblies. And we painstakingly, despite all the issues we were confronted with in terms of objections in court and rulings, and which necessarily led to delays, we concluded and submitted, I would say, a report in the interest of the states of Ghana to where the report expects us, where the law expects us to forward it to, which is the Attorney General under Section 10 of the Whistleblower Act. That's what we did. So it was far-ranging, and it concluded with findings. We made our own recommendations going forward, specific to the case and in general, as to how we can handle these type of issues.
Mr. Hotel, regarding the investigation, would you say there was merit in the complainant's complaint?
I am gagged by the law not to go into issues that would sound like I'm breaching confidentiality. So that is left to the bosom of the Attorney General.
Regarding the report, did you recommend that any persons be sanctioned?
Again, I would not be able to comment on it because of the issues of confidentiality.
Very well then. Mr. Hotel, we understand this investigation was concluded in June 2018, and my colleagues contacted your office somewhere in December, which is when you let us know that you have forwarded the report to the Attorney General's office. Between December and now, have you made any overtures since this became a matter of public interest? Have you made any overtures to the Attorney General's department to find out if they indeed have it and to make this offer of sending a new copy?
Daniel, don't forget the tribe has 3 huge mandates and we are working flat out under very strenuous circumstances. That is not an issue for tribe. As I indicated, we have evidence of our transmittal letter We have evidence of the delivery. And so why would we need to do that? So when your reporter came to us, we indicated, I called for the file, showed evidence that this matter is no longer within the tribe. It's long gone. And once it's gone, I have to show respect to the Attorney General to determine how she proceeds. She has all the right to even not take forward my recommendations. I can fault her. I shouldn't be seen to be pushing an agenda. I've done my work as a statesman, which is required by the law. So what would be my motivation for wanting to ask and to offer another report?
Very well,
because
then. Thank
I
you.
have the evidence that it was given.
Very well, then. Thank you very much, Mr. Joseph Whittal, for joining us this morning.
I'm grateful.
Joseph Whittal heads the Commission of Human Rights and Administrative Justice. So, key points that he made. In the first place, as is their mandate according to law, they have handed over the report on the investigation to the Attorney General's Department. This was done as far back as June 2018. A number of reports are given to the Attorney General every year. He has evidence that he handed this report over to the office. And so, quite technically, he's not really obliged to go and ask the Attorney General that with these reports that I've given you, have you followed up on them? Because it is still within the Attorney General's discretion to apply his recommendations or not. Because basically, that office picks and chooses which cases they are going to follow based on the number of resources that they have. But he has said that he has another copy of the reports there. If the Attorney General's Department should make the request, they would hand that document over again. We are making efforts to reach the Attorney General's office, and those efforts have not been successful as of now. When they are, we'll definitely have a word from the Attorney General. Manasseh Azuriawuni is still here. Malik Abbas Dabo is also joining us. He's the head of myjoyonline.com. Malik, this is not the first time that documents have gone missing.
Absolutely not. I remember when we were doing the investigations, the robbing the assemblies investigations, and we were looking for documents pertaining to some contracts given to the same company under various guises for fumigation and waste bins and all of that. We went to the local government's ministry for copies of those contracts. We were told to submit a letter. When Manasseh submitted the letter, they said that, well, there was a civil suit involving Jospon and Manasseh, and to that extent, they will not give us copies of those contracts. Now, we insisted that that civil suit had absolutely nothing to do with the contracts in question, and therefore, in any case, that matter was a civil matter. It had nothing to do with the professional job of the investigator, and therefore, there couldn't be a legitimate basis for them not to give us the document. Eventually, they said, well, they will write to the AG's department for advice on whether or not to give us those contracts. When they wrote the letter to the AG's department, the AG's department replied and said, having studied the matter which they brought against Manasseh in a civil forum, there was no reason why they shouldn't give us the documents. That letter itself, that advice from the AG's department got missing at the ministry. We had to make a copy. Fortunately, the AG's department was kind enough to give Manasseh a copy of that advice. So Manasseh then made a copy to them in order that they could apprise themselves of the advice that was given and determine whether or not to give the documents to us. When that copy was made available to them, they then came back and said, in fact, even the contracts are missing. The same ministry that said that they could only give us the contract on the advice of the Attorney General's Department. When that advice came, the advice got missing. When we made a copy to them, they said the contracts were missing. So just look at the chronology of events relating to these contracts and the missing documents relating to
quickly before we move to the second part of this issue. Manasseh, Mr. Whittal largely confirms what we found.
Yes, he has. And the problem here is that if we didn't know about this and if we didn't come in, now the Shraj is prepared to give the Attorney General's Department a second set of documents and report. He says it's a very big report with recommendations. If we didn't know about this and if we hadn't stepped in, this is how it was going to end. Shraj has done investigation on Zoomlion, submitted to the Attorney General's Department. Between Shraj and Attorney General, that report cannot be found. So that's how this case was going to die. For now, we don't even know if they get it, they will do anything about it. But there wouldn't be any record at the Attorney General's Department that Shraj ever investigated Zoomlion, brought a report to that department. And that's what makes it very serious.
And when you add to the fact that this is a state agency, Shraj is a constitutional body. When that constitutional body spends money and time and energy to conduct an investigation, and note, when Mr. Whittal made his comment, he said they submitted a report in the interest of the state. What is contained in that report that he's emphasizing in the interest of the state? Note that the complainant who made the complaint said that there were happenings that were not in the interest of the state. And that when they went in to do the investigation, they found out that the complaints were not limited to the assembly, that particular assembly alone, but they were widespread. So they exercised good judgment and expanded the scope of the investigation, covering all the 138 metropolitan, municipal, and district assemblies. Now, when they spend all of the time and the money provided by the state, compile a report which is in the interest of the state, and they submit that to an important state agency such as the Attorney General's Department, and that report is missing, that is an important, serious issue.
Finding out when we come back. But text messages are brought to you by Afrodan, your Backman's Last Year Lifetime, and Glyco Critical Illness Plan GSIP. Glyco, we cushion you for life. Now, Afrodan is offering you today the most comfortable chair in the world, the Nightingale Extreme Comfort Chair. With over 10 thoughtfully engineered features, especially customized for your health and comfort, working has never had us this good. So go to Afrodan on the first floor of the Swansea Shopping Arcade and feel the chair. You'll be amazed. The Glyco Critical Illness Plan GSIP gives you financial support when diagnosed with critical illness such as cancer, strokes, kidney failures, and others. Speak to Glyco Life today for your GSIP policy on 020-2222-113 or dial Star Glyco on your Star phone app, available on Android and iOS. Glyco Life, we cushion you for life. We'll be right back to discuss the 1.6 billion CD contract that has no papers covering it, allegedly. Stay with us.
So you wanted that weave, that one that's so long it touches your toes. Got it. A disco light for the room when the sweetheart comes over. Swoon your major bagged it. Those chrome spinning wheels that will have people at church praying to be you. But though, now how about those mega woofers that will wake up the whole neighborhood? Ordered. Because you've got the card that makes it all possible.
You don't need a bank account to spoil yourself. You can now securely load funds for travel, pay for goods and services online and at your favorite shop, or give your loved ones unending spending options or possibilities with a perfect gift card. Get a Cowbank prepaid card now, because you can.
Cowbank, forward together.
The Malcolm Grand Furniture Sale promo is on. Really? Tell me more. Enjoy 10 to 50% discount on the entire range of home and office furniture. Wow! Exclusive offers you won't find again. I like it. Remember, terms and conditions apply. Malcolm, where Ghana shops.
From importers to exporters, direct to indirect workers, you and I, the MPS Terminal 3 is great news to us all.
As a trader, doing business at the port has become easy. The machines are very modern and clearing goods has become very fast.
As a port worker, it is a great joy to be part of over 1,000 Ghanaians working here. This new facility means a lot to us.
As a cocoa farmer, I have more markets to export my products. The entire world can now taste my cocoa, bringing me and my family more income.
The MPS Terminal 3 is a game changer. MPS has invested in world-class equipment and technology to optimize the efficiency of doing business at Tema Port. This means more jobs, development, and opportunities for our present and our future in Ghana. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
Your office they shine, oh.
Yes, so I tell you, say for proper and modern ceiling solutions, the answer be Interface Limited. Them get in stock acoustic ceilings where you go fit make your office fine like my own.
Or even better pass your own self.
We can better pass my own.
Shall I go Interface right now?
Interface Limited is the leading supplier and installer of finishing input materials for the building and construction industry in Ghana. Call us on 0274-999999 or visit our website at www.interfacelimited.com.
The time is now. Yes, it's the time to get a loan for the way you live and get a highly competitive rate on your loans. You can get the cash to buy whatever you want with an unbeatable loan from your preferred bank. So say General Ghana. Don't waste any time. You deserve a better bank. Just step into any branch today or call 0302-214-314 to find out more. And remember, the promotion ends on 30th June 2019. As usual, terms and conditions apply.
Everyone says I'm a Kosia filler, but it's not like I'm nosy or go out to find out the latest filler. It's just that I get 50 megabytes of data free after paying for only the first minute of every call. And so I just keep discovering stuff minute after minute. That's how come I was minding my business, scrolling through my timeline, and I found out Coco has a new baby. Oh, and last week I learned Ken won the lottery. You see, Ken is my brother's friend. So hello, look who's about to roll with the rich and famous.
Enjoy even more value with MTN Free After One. You only pay for the first minute of your call on MTN Free After One, and the rest is free. Plus, you enjoy free 50 megabytes worth of data to browse your favorite sites. Compare where, compare there. So dial *315# to sign up. We day for you everywhere you go. Terms and conditions apply.
You there for now, south, east or west. You be old or young, good life, live it well. Wash your hands with soap under running water.
show in town. The hottest music, the best giveaways, the great interviews, and all the laughter and fun you can imagine. Don't miss the Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 FM. It's the best breakfast show in town.
Minutes to the top of the hour here on your Super Morning Show on Joe 99.7 FM. If you just joined us, we are discussing our money, your money, money which has been paid to some. Okay, so this is how the progression works. A contract was awarded to Zoomlion in 2007. Allegedly, Zoomlion started raising funds to get the equipment to execute the contract in 2008. But monies were paid to Zoomlion from 2007 to 2008 for work done, if I can say that. But that's not the worst part. The worst part is that this was reported to Shraj. Shraj investigated this matter, sent their report to the Attorney General's Department in June 2018. The Attorney General's Department says they have not received it. So we just spoke to Mr. Joseph Whittal, who confirmed all that we've said. And he also said that Shraj has more copies of this report that they can easily send to the Attorney General's Department if they so wish. We are trying to reach the Attorney General's Department. We've not gotten them still. Hashtag Joy SMS. George Ofosubuachi just asked the question I just answered. Danny, so the question is, can't Shraj send another copy to the AG? This is common sense. They should send as many as possible. If they lack the money to do so, they should crowdfund. And I know reasonable Ghanaians will support such a cause. Sad. Money, Mother Ghana is bleeding. Corruption is really a chronic disease and a tattoo on the Ghanaian. Cocaine turned into baking powder and now hashtag Zoomlion. It's a big shame to the state's AG. Hashtag Joy SMS. Ras Jabingi sends that in. The first one was George Ofosubuachi. Tweet at us as Joy997 FM. Go on our Facebook page, Joy99.7 FM. Keep those comments coming through. The hashtag is Joy SMS. Get your early bird tickets for Ebo White's I Want Your Wife, showing at the National Theatre on the 6th, 7th, 13th and 14th of July, 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. each day. The early bird tickets sell from now till the 16th of June. They go for 60 Ghana cedis. You save 20 Ghana cedis. WhatsApp 050-554-6030 for details. GCB, your largest bank in Ghana, offers salaried workers with their salary account as GCB personal loans within 24 hours. Visit any of our 180 branches nationwide or call 0800-422-422 for a GCB 24-hour personal loan now and see that dream come true. GCB, your bank for life. Make the Ramadan complete with a gift that keeps giving. Get the all-new Renault Duster starting at 92,000 Ghana cedis or Oroch pickup for only 98,999 Ghana cedis. Yes, you heard right. With a seating capacity of 5, the Oroch pickup combines a comfortable double cabin and ample loading space. The Oroch with a 1.6-liter engine is simply cool on your pocket. It gives you the comfort of an SUV with the versatility of the pickup. Fill it all in. Oroch sample cargo bed got you. The Renault Oroch pickup and Duster are good for the weather, rain or shine, with very low fuel consumption and ample space. The Oroch and Duster complement you, your business and your lifestyle. There's Bluetooth connectivity, auxiliary USB port allows you to set the mood right with Bay. Charlie, why not choose to flex all day with the daytime running lights on both the Oroch and the Duster? Renault is distributed by Premium Motors Limited, located at Atiko Junction on the Kaneshi Doko Road. Call 0278 134 or 0307 079977 or 0307 0800 10 to send an endless gift, or visit renault.com.gh. Renault, passion for life. I can speak for Premium Motors. They fixed my car, my Renault Duster. So yeah, it's a great car to use. Yes, I'm coming back to you, Manasseh, because that is not all that we have found with Zoomlion and Ghana's money, right?
That is not all. There is a disturbing contract, and for me, it's one of the worst contracts ever to be signed with our money. Between 2013 and 2019, I struggle to call it a contract because the contract expired in February 2013, but it has not been renewed or reviewed. And between February 2013 and February 2019, that contract has cost Ghana 1.6 billion Ghana cedis, not the old cedis. I'm talking of 1,600,000,000 Ghana cedis. That's how much this contract has cost us, and there's no written agreement. Last year in February, the Youth Employment Agency actually announced to the whole nation that by June it was going to end this contract. Zoomlion even came forward and issued a press statement clarifying certain issues and welcoming the decision to subject this contract to competitive bidding. For reasons we cannot understand, we are in 2019. February came, that has not been done. We are still told the government is taking steps to go through the procurement process. We also know that in 2016 November, the MPP actually held a press conference. It was addressed by then policy advisor of the campaign, Boache Jakon. And at that press conference, the MPP said this Zoomlion contract was fraudulent, that the Mahama government and Zoomlion were conniving to defraud the people of Ghana. Now they won in 2016, and by January they took over. As we speak, the very allegations they raised, and they concluded by saying that Mahama could not deal with such contracts because he was benefiting directly from those fraudulent contracts. So the question every reasonable Ghanaian should be asking the MPP, the government, is that is President Akufo-Addo benefiting directly from such fraudulent contracts? Because if you are to go by their logic, that may be why the contracts are still standing. And let me just also conclude by saying that we did our investigation across the country, and then during the Robbing the Assembly series, the municipal, metropolitan and district assemblies, each of them has a unit called Waste and Sanitation Department, and they said they had what it takes to, they still have what it takes to be able to supervise the sweepers. And the fact that this contract is even in a private hands is making it difficult for them, because I went to the KMA, Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly. At the time, they had about 1,749 workers under Zoomlion who were supposed to be sweeping.
Yeah.
But because the work was not being done, the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly had to now use its internally generated funds to employ another set of sweepers who were in charge of sweeping the lorry parks, the Kumasi Central Business District, and then the Central Market. So they said, okay, if these numbers were given to us assemblies, we could allocate them to the various areas we want cleaned, supervise them, and they'll do the work well. So the monies for these sweepers, the monies are deducted from the common fund directly
before they even get to the districts.
Now, because they've given it to Zoomlion and the work is not being done, they now have to use their own funds to employ people to do the same work. So for the assemblies,
has been paid for already.
Paid for with their mega resources.
Malik, I want to read this part of Boakye Jako's news conference that he addressed on the 16th of November 2016. We also need to note the fact that the board of the Youth Employment Agency is being asked to take all the necessary steps to ratify the sanitation contract for 2013 to 2015. Since this contract has expired and not in operation, why would they ratify it by backdating? They tried to justify the necessity by claiming that sanitation activities could not be brought to an abrupt end countrywide. Yet, this is not the case with nurses, teachers, and other essential service workers who have active ongoing contracts, yet have not been paid their salaries, which are many months in advance. So this was very, very convenient. A very convenient political point that was scored. Now, the worst part is that as of the time, we had racked up 448,150 Ghana cedis. 448 million Ghana cedis as of November 2016, when Boakye Jako was addressing this news conference. But today, it has climbed up to more than twice that amount. In fact, more than close to 4 times that amount.
The contract is worth 270 million cedis a year. So between 2013 and 2019, that's 5 years, February, that's 5 years. So if you're looking at the amount that was spent, or the cost of that contract is 1.6 billion.
Yes.
And 80% of that is management fees. So you have about 1.2 billion going to Zoomlion, about 400 million going to the people in whose name the Youth Employment Program was created.
Look, we are not done with this. Stay with us.
New month, welcome to the Joy Business Minute.
It's Karen and Darrell.
The Bank of Ghana has justified its decision to close down over 300 microfinance companies and microcredit institutions. According to the bank, it had to do this to save the entire financial system.
Meanwhile, the institution appointed to lead liquidation of the microfinance institutions, PricewaterhouseCoopers, has indicated that it could start paying validated deposits from next Monday. Eric Nipa has been appointed the receiver.
Government has appointed 3 new commissioners for the Ghana Revenue Authority. It's reassigned the current supporting commissioners to ministers.
The Ghana Statistical Service has begun the trial process for 2020 population and housing census exercise. The trial is taking place in some selected regions.
Elsewhere, Asian markets slumped Monday as investors reacted to the prospect of worsening global trade tensions. China on Sunday said it will not back down in a trade fight with the United States.
And that's it. Enjoy your day.
Morning Show. 2 minutes past 9. We are back. Manasseh, sorry, it's Malik I want to come to. Malik, so I just read a quote by Boakye Jako, who at the time that we were losing about 400 million Ghana cedis, was talking about how this was an illegal expense, which we should not even try and ratify by going back to justify it.
Well, you quoted Boakye Jako in 2016, right? Let me quote to you Justin Kodia Frimpong. He is the chief executive of the National Youth Employment Agency, yeah, which is the supervisory agency over this sanitation model. This is what he said precisely on 21st February 2018. He said, management is committed to the president's vision of ensuring value for money, putting the youth at the center of our development agenda, ensuring transparency and accountable governance, and of course, maintaining a clean and healthy environment. Now, he goes on to say that of the 38,884 people employed under the sanitation model, most of them were recruited without recourse to the YEA. And he said there were no appointment letters issued to these beneficiaries, a practice we consider unacceptable. the service provider, i.e. Zoomlion, has still up to date been unable to furnish the agency with the payment records of beneficiaries on their payroll. This is 2018, February. It was after this, at this press conference, that they said by June, they will open tender for all companies desirous of managing this to put in their competitive bids so that they will choose a company which is capable to do this work. We are in, and this was June 2018. We are in June 2019.
This was actually February 2018.
Yes, that he was holding the press conference and saying that in June they will open the bids.
So it means it's the first anniversary for the opening of bids.
Absolutely, and nothing has happened. And
we need to have a birthday celebration for this promise.
The government recently tabled documents in Parliament that will eventually lead to a referendum for the election of MMDCEs. The purpose for that is to enhance decentralization. How do you do decentralization when the most important thing that these assemblies are supposed to do, central government is taking charge of it? I cannot be convinced that the DCEs that the president has appointed as his representative in the metropolitan, municipal and district assemblies are incapable of recruiting and supervising people to sweep their streets. That the central government must appoint a company sitting in Accra, pay the company in Accra for the company to go and sweep the nooks and crannies of this country. That the districts there do not have any role at all to play when it comes to managing sanitation in their respective assemblies. Now, if you do not determine whether or not a company gets paid, how can you determine whether or not they do the work? And if the company which is doing the work is not being supervised by the beneficiaries of the work, it is actually not being paid by them, why will it bother to do the work?
No, this is exactly what happened, Malik, in the first case, where a company is being paid to do work that it hasn't started.
Yes.
And I had the conversation with, I hosted up front, and I had a conversation with the board chairman of YE.
That's what I was looking for that, and you told him it doesn't make sense.
In that conversation, I asked Samuel whether it makes sense that his government is paying 500 cedis to a company in the name of person sweeping the street. The company is keeping 400 cedis and paying the people 100 cedis. I asked him that question, and I said, the company came to you one day with a letter saying that the number of people sweeping the street had jumped from 37,000 to 45,000. Is the YEA capable of verifying these figures? He said no. How do you, and yet you are going to make payment on the basis of numbers that you yourself are incapable of verifying? The company which is the beneficiary of these high numbers, it is the one which is telling you how many people it has recruited. You have no way of independently verifying the numbers, and yet you are paying. And it was just by a letter that the numbers have increased. When the spokesperson for Zoomlion came here, she said that
Sophia Lisa, 2016.
The numbers increased from 37,000 to 47,000 because new assemblies had been created. My response is, yes, those new assemblies were created out of existing assemblies. The government of Ghana did not claim any part of the sea. We didn't annex Togo. We didn't annex Ivory Coast or Burkina Faso. So the total land space have remained the same. So that even if they created new assemblies,
the scope of work should be the same.
And even that is a lie, because between 2013 and 2016, when she made that statement, no new assembly was created. The last time an assembly was created in Ghana was 2012. And we're talking about August 2013 to 2016 when they came to our studio. So that is even a lie.
So when you, first of all, you the one paying don't determine the numbers. The beneficiary is the one determining the numbers. You can independently verify them. You can't convince me that the assemblies are incapable of supervising people to do the sweeping. What is the basis for giving a contract in Accra, deducting money from poor assemblies and paying a company when the assemblies are not the people who are determining who is doing the work and whether the work gets done or not. And Manasseh told us in Kumasi, the people have to use their own meager resources to go and get people to sweep. My district in Wa East is not as rich as Kumasi, so they can't raise their own money. Why do you foist sweepers on them and take their small money and pay somebody in the name of coming to sweep their streets? Why don't you leave that to them?
Manasseh, it's so alarming how some contracts are awarded without proper checks and balances. This is so sad how taxpayers' money is spent, Basa. Yafrim Poma Inim tweeting at us, hashtag Joy SMS. How is it possible for the AG's department to admonish it never received any reports whilst Shraj is saying otherwise? Besides, who should we believe? 9 minutes past 9 here on the Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 FM. We are talking about money. It's 10 minutes past 9, and we've been talking about how our taxpayers' money has been used so far